Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I feel like I've been in another world this week. Just the thought about school and each day and who's going at what time and what they need to bring, and then when's cheerleading, when's the dance. But things have been going well. Belle and Eve have both been enjoying school so much. They both had their first full day yesterday, so I'm sitting here shooting this on Thursday. Wednesday they both went for the whole time, and I don't know why. I think every parent of a kindergartner who's first going to school for that full day like probably has the same apprehension of like, are they gonna get through this day? Are they gonna get along with the potty situation well? Will they eat their school lunch? Or like, what's gonna happen? But like, she did great. The thing about Biddy is this: she's one kind of wild character around our house, and then she kind of gets into school mode, and I think Miss Serious comes on. Very careful, very serious. It will take her a while to like open up in that setting. I think I was the same way because I remember most of my teachers commenting on like midterms or in conferences about how quiet I was. I was not a quiet kid, but I was in school. And maybe some of that too is like you feel like you're around a lot of kids who are super duper loud, and so you kind of adjust, you know, and read the room and be like, I don't also need to be loud. Everyone else is being loud. I think both my girls are that way to an extent. They still might get a degree in communication and do talking for a living. And then little Bubba, little Rhett, just being at home. He just straight up, boom, lost a couple playmates. But Biddy actually doesn't have school on this day. It's like staggered. Half the kindergarten went the first day, half today, and then they'll all go Friday. But I could tell yesterday kind of liked the attention. Kind of also wanted the sisters around. Enough life story. I have some new things, and I put them all together actually yesterday in a full face look that wore amazingly well and looked so pretty. Like the complexion products here just vibed, you know. It was good. Part of it's like some new e.l.f. stuff, and part of it's a few new things from Sephora. So we're just gonna roll with that. Some things happened not how I expected them to. So just in terms of the layering of the particular products I'm choosing, I would have thought I would have had a different kind of look coming away with it, but it was better than I thought. So anyway, we'll get there. I've got all my skincare on and my sunscreen, and she finally came, y'all. I got the email like last week, and it said, due to exceptionally high order volume for our new Halo Glow liquid filter, you know, orders are taking longer than anticipated. So mine finally came, and y'all have heard this is the suspected dupe of Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm glad e.l.f. made the product, but it's not a dupe that really excites me. It's like one of those super obvious dupes. Does anyone know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's cool that it came out, but everyone knows that this would be a dupe, or at least in the dupe conversation, right? So anyway, it's Halo Glow liquid filter, glow booster for radiant skin. Charlotte Tilbury has the Hollywood Flawless filter. I got this in the shade. The sticker's doing something funky and I can't quite see. Shade 2. Another product that's kind of in this conversation would be the Maybelline Glow Booster 4-in-1 makeup, the one that has like the puffy tip that I used kind of recently in a video. So basically these can be priming products, these can be products to highlight with on top of the skin. This could be something you mix into a foundation, make it more glowy. You could use it as just a sheer base product if you wanted to. The way I always talked about the Hollywood Flawless filter was that it seemed like it was liquid highlighter, kind of a soft liquid highlight with some foundation-y tone mixed in. So we're gonna put this on, and this was again what I wore yesterday. It's got a big old, just giant buckfoot applicator here, and we're gonna smooth some of this across the skin. I'm wearing it like primer, okay? I'm gonna get it on, we're gonna blend it in. So I use basically whatever comes off on that. And I'm just going to blend that in with my e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush, okay? So you will see that it gives this really pretty glow, but yet, you know, it has that skin tone element like I said. This is very, very similar, I think, to the Hollywood Flawless filter. Like super similar to the look you come away with. And I feel like the Maybelline one is maybe a little more sheer than this. This packs in a little bit more like concentrated glow and color, like just the feeling of a hint more coverage perhaps than the Maybelline. I just went for something that I thought would be roundabout a skin tone match, and you can see, you know, it's gonna give you some skin tone, but it's gonna give you a lot of glow. And I don't know why I went for this particular combo yesterday. Oh, I know, I had the Too Faced concealer, so I just thought I'll use a Too Faced foundation. And I know I've said that if you put a glowy primer under like a more full coverage foundation, you won't see the effects of the primer as much. But here I feel like, especially like seeing myself in a mirror on and off throughout the day, I felt like I really saw the added glow that this gave to the Too Faced Born This Way matte. I think part of why I chose this yesterday, I know it to be very long wearing. It's probably a little thinner consistency than the NARS Soft Matte, but like it wears really well. Just looks the same at the end of the day as when you put it on. But more glow came through from this priming step than I was even expecting it would. And it just like lasted, looked fresh, looked good. So I do apply this with a beauty blender, and that might be part of the trick as well. But I wear it in light beige, Born This Way matte. I've talked about this before, like it's a really good long wear foundation. Maybe a hint less coverage compared to the NARS Soft Matte. And like I said, a little bit thinner. That might be what someone out there wants. Just trying to describe it as accurately as I can. So I take a full pump of it and I just get it swiped all around. But yeah, this is not new to me. This I've had in my collection for a while. So we take the beauty blender and we get this all blended in. It blends in really easy. And my shade, this light beige color, you know, it's definitely like a summertime shade for me. Works on a bit of a tan as far as my skin is concerned. Sorry, I went on like autopilot blending this out, forgetting I was even shooting a video. But what we end up with is a really pretty coverage, but there's like a radiance to the surface of the skin. If Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter is what you have, I think you would get a similar situation here if you want to use that underneath. And I think the Maybelline could give you some, but maybe not as much glow. But we were real glowy going in with this foundation on top, and I'm still seeing some through it, and it just looked so pretty like all day long. Like a fresh, long-wearing finish on the skin. And I do think the e.l.f. had a lot to do with it. So again, I think it's cool e.l.f. came out with this. It doesn't really excite me as much as a dupe that I had to dig for, you know, because everybody just kind of knows. Like there are some things that come out that are just obvious dupes, and that's one of them. I got the new Too Faced concealer. This is called Ethereal Light Illuminating Smoothing Concealer, and I got it in the shade Oatmeal. Cute little packaging here, as Too Faced always does. But yeah, I was wearing this yesterday, and this kind of fell in, you know, with the look. I mean, it wore well. This came off very brightening. I don't really have any complaints about this concealer, but I feel like I'm just going to need a little more time with it to learn more about it. And it's like they've reverted to a small doe foot on this. It seemed like our doe foots were turning into buck foots and getting so big on so many products, but this is just a standard small size, kind of an almond shaped applicator there. I'm just gonna pop this on, and I do feel it's illuminating, and I feel like some of that's just because the shade is a little lighter than my skin tone, so that always helps. But it has decent coverage too. By decent, I mean good, but maybe not as good as e.l.f. Camo Concealer. If you're a straight up like coverage is all that matters kind of person, that's who I'm saying that for. But it looked pretty, and again, it was part of this whole like look that wore amazingly well yesterday, even around the nose, even right in these little nose creases where I'm packing the product. Like it still looked just untouched, just unaffected by the day. And there were lots of in and outs and hot cars and all these things. I was impressed. And then you know how we do, we take our little end of our e.l.f. Duo brush and we just get into those small zones. So see that? I feel like, yeah, it looks really pretty. It looks very non-makeup-y on the surface of the skin, but yeah, I can turn my head, and I know some of this is like the actual contour of the skin, but I can still see like some areas that may not have been dark with other concealers. I'm gonna try building this just a touch, but we got a powder step coming up, y'all, that's really gonna be awesome. Put like one more dot right in there. Oh gosh, should I just crank that too hard? I know my own strength. I'm just gonna pop it in. I found a couple of really cute, like, I wanna say $10 or less shirt dresses from Walmart. Also that little olive green number I wore over the weekend, that was super cheap as well. It's kind of a good time to find summery things for less, and it's still going to be hot for a while. And, you know, I'm just trying to get out of the daily legging game. I say as I sit here in leggings. Today I'm wearing leggings, but you know, dresses are nice and they're comfy, especially just a casual dress. So I got these cute little One's orange, one's black. They had several other colors, but I just kind of had to go with what was in my size. In women's, I'm a size small. And they just had cute little like cuff sleeves and a little pocket, and I just thought, oh, this is cute. It was very comfy, and I just felt a bit more put together, you know? It's first days of school. Okay, so that's all we're gonna do with the concealer. Adding a little more might have helped a touch, but it's more special in the way it looks so natural on the skin as opposed to how much coverage it has. That says it's an illuminating concealer, and that's accurate. The other makeup things I got from e.l.f. I got some other like kind of more skin-oriented products, and I might show like a separate haul maybe on TikTok of all that stuff. But the other makeup thing I got was the Halo Glow Setting Powder. They were really touting this alongside this, and I wanted to try the light pink shade, so that's what I got. And they have a little special puff with it too. Now, I had some Halo Glow setting powder, was it over a year ago? And I felt like it had some sparkle in it. Am I wrong? A bit of an illuminating finish. So I tapped some out right here, this pink shade. And this, guys, I used the little puff, and I just kind of, I feel like I'm baking a little bit, but I'm patting this in. What in the world? Ladies, trying to steal my thunder on this. Pressing that into the under eye. It's super, like, really goes along with this brightening thing. And again, the makeup wore incredibly well. So, like, I think every player thus far has been part of the reason why. I think the e.l.f. had something to do with it. I think the Too Faced Born This Way matte has something to do with it. I think the concealer, and I think this powder. But look at this. This is brightening and nice. It really is a light pinky tone. And I set my whole T-zone with it too. And I like this little puff. As you can see, it picks up a little bit of the color of the makeup you got on, but it can be washed. Oh, by the way, there is a nice twister on the sifter, which is great. If you travel, it keeps your product, you know, completely like in there. You won't have a big mess when you open it up. It's a very fine powder, so I feel like I can get away with this sort of application. I'm just really deliberately pressing it where I want it. That's again the Halo Glow setting powder in the light pink shade. And then I just take like my little Morphe brush, and I'm gonna dust away, almost as though I were baking, dust away any excess. But yay, skin looks really, really good after doing that. Here's another new thing I got from Too Faced. I really didn't notice that when they launched their new chocolate palette and the eyeliner and the lip plumper, they also put out a natural chocolate bronzer. So something with kind of a satiny finish. It's in caramel cocoa infused healthy glow bronzer. If I turn it a little bit, maybe you can see that there's a little glow in the finish there. It smells so good, and I gotta give it up for Too Faced for this like kind of old Hollywood glamorous looking compact. I love that. I would like to just walk around with a nice little pressed powder or something in a compact like this. So I'm taking this around my hairline. It's a perfect tone and just a perfect little amount of glow. Maybe that was playing into some of the glow I saw on top of my skin, you know, all day long as well. But I know some is coming from what I used as a primer. Really nice, easy tone, and I'm not kicking up any powder when I go into the compact. It's soft and pigmented, but not too soft. You can use it without really thinking. Oh, guys, I made egg salad last night, my award-winning egg salad. It hasn't actually won any awards, but I started making it back in high school, and I just referred to it as that. I feel like it would win an award, and so we've joked about that ever since. You just take your hard-boiled eggs, then I eyeball in some mayo, some mustard, some sweet relish, salt, pepper, maybe a little dash of some Tony seasoning, and then what you absolutely have to add in, because it needs a little bit of this sweetness. I throw in 1 packet of stevia. Get it all stirred up, have it on crackers or just alone, sandwich, whatever. Everyone loves it. So here I am with this really pretty bronzer on. I think the amount of glow in it seems similar to like an Hourglass bronzer. You know how those have that little small amount of luminosity? I feel like this has that too. Looks just really pretty, really seamless. It wants to blend in easily. I think a satin finish always makes something just mesh into the skin a little bit more easily, a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm really liking that. Really think that's fun. They should have made a bigger deal about that. So this look is going to come away with kind of a warm vibe. You'll see as the eyeshadow starts to come into play and everything. And I wanted more of a warm, a little more peachy blush. So I pulled out, and this is the same thing I used yesterday. I'm doing like a repeat look because I loved it so much. Warm coral blush in the shade Sunny from Benefit. So that's really cute. Again, it has its own little personality. This wasn't one of the ones I named as one of my absolute faves. And I still don't think it is, but like if I'm wanting this very peachy tone, I do like it. So this seems to have kind of a matte finish actually. Is it matte? Yeah, natural matte finish they call it. It almost looks like kind of airbrushed on top of the skin, but I like that amount of color actually. Really pretty. If you really isolate what you're looking at here and just look at the pan, don't be swayed by the pink around it. This is a really pure peach. I dig it. Okay, and then we're just gonna pop on some highlight. I'm pulling out good old Laura Geller, my duo in French Poodle and French Almond. I love French Poodle here. Think her baked French vanilla, but a little more brightening, a little more to it. And undetectable vibes on the skin. Look at that. I mean, how's she doing this? How's she nailing that so perfectly? Who doesn't want a highlight that looks like that? So pretty. Really pretty just all over, wherever you need a little boost. I love this look. I love the way these things are coming together. Then I'm just gonna pull out my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Rose Mist. Just an amazing sprayer on these little Wet n Wild mists. It's so good. And it's like anything that had the least bit of a powdery appearance now is just looking really, really skin-like. So I'm gonna go on and do my brows. This is just my Instant Lift e.l.f. brow pencil in neutral brown. I ran across something the other night on TikTok, and it was like this woman, and I knew she was kind of like playing into this for the entertainment value, but she was just throwing together like the quickest face, almost to do like 3-minute makeup, which I've done on TikTok as well. Just a really, really fast look, but like her whole vibe was nobody needs to take a lot of time to do makeup, you know, you can just throw this stuff on and be careless about it. And my enjoyment for that video really solidified to me that I like everyone's path to makeup. Just because I see someone sitting there completely doing it different than the way I do it on a daily basis, I don't feel a judgy feel come over me. I don't feel a critical feel come over me. I'm just enjoying like the glimpse into someone else's routine. It fascinates me. And it's like I have an expectation that no two people are going to do it exactly the same. And that's the fun and beauty and mystery and magic of makeup, you know, is that everybody can go at it a little different way. And it can come away working. It just like filled me up. I was like, this is fun. I love catching that glimpse into what people are doing. And if it's totally different from the way I do it, so be it. I almost had more fun watching someone do it way differently than me than I would have watching someone do it exactly the same as me. That's the beauty of makeup. That's why I like to feel like, you know, there are no rules. Each and every person could take a different stab at a makeup routine and it could work out, you know, like it could be what they want it to be at the end, but the approach could be completely different. And that's what's fun. That's what's awesome about it. And so long as, you know, all of us in the community, all of us taking in the content can just appreciate it, you know, and enjoy the fact that we can all do it differently. And what's even more special is one individual can do it differently on any given day. You know, one day it might be the super involved 45-minute look, and another day it's like, whoops, I gotta get out of here in 5. And it's all good. You know, we have these tools in our arsenal, so to speak. We have the ideas and the know-how to do it quick or to do it more involved. But we can appreciate all ways and we cannot feel the need to critique. We live in a world where everyone feels the need to give their 2 cents on everything. It's like just because a comment section exists doesn't mean you have to fill it with your, you know, critical thoughts. You can just sit there and enjoy it and maybe leave a nice comment, but just be able to watch something without criticizing it. This person's on a different journey from me on this day. And I can appreciate that. And I don't really want to add any additional color to the brows, so we're just going to go with NYX Control Freak here. I'm going to put on some primer. I have been reaching for this a little bit more, the Too Faced Shadow Insurance that I have. I kind of like just, you know, popping it off the doe foot like this. Kind of nice and easy. And it's wearing well. And really the only problem I ever had with Too Faced Shadow Insurance was, I think, caused by the squeeze tube. Time after time I felt like I was getting little tubes that the stuff inside wasn't really mixed up, you know? And I would get like a really thin consistency for a while and then finally get the thicker stuff. I still think Milani Eyeshadow Primer reigns supreme. Obviously the price difference alone, that's huge, but I do like this. Now for eyeshadow, yesterday I actually used my Too Faced Sunset Stripped palette, which I like. I like it better than the first Born This Way little rectangle palette that they put out like that. I just like the depth that you can achieve. I like the tones. But something that I've mentioned less and used less on my channel, I don't think I've even mentioned it at all. I bought this probably over a month ago, the Violet Voss Matte Vibes Matte Eyeshadow Palette. I didn't think it was going to be this big. Like, the pans are huge, and it's matte and it's warm, and I love it. I don't think I really needed this, but I enjoy it. And I'm going to do a look with it today. I got a very certain kind of lip that I'm going to be doing that's also sort of warm, and I want to do the warm matte eye, okay? I haven't done an all matte eye in some time, so I'm going to take the Mall Rat shade up here, so everything's just matte. Violet Voss makes some amazing eyeshadows, by the way. They got some good palettes here and there. I, for some reason, just thought this was going to be like the miniature size. What this kind of makes me think of, Profusion makes a matte palette, a 10 pan, but yeah, I'm just getting that all worked into my crease and above. Really pretty. Okay, and then here's something I love to do. You've got that first little matte base shade and you come on in with something a little bit richer matte. So let's do Grody over here in this shade. Okay, deeper, still kind of warm brown. Just wedge that in. Back and forth. Super good. Got my Toasty shirt on. I actually got this around Valentine's Day, but the heart works anytime, right? Next, I want to go pretty dark on the outside. I think I'm going to go to actually it looks kind of like a soft black here called Shoulder Pads. And yeah, it's real black. And I'm just going to pat that in on the outer corner. Here's another thing. If you got the like ColourPop, the big matte palette, I love that one. That's probably got all this in there. I think I was just more than anything just curious about this because I really like the look of all the tones. So what we're doing with the black at this point is just patting it all over like the outer half of the lid, and we're making sure that that brush kind of wedges up to the crease. So when we come in with like a small pointed brush, there's some shadow right where we want it to be already. And now we can work on just softening that a little bit, helping it merge in with those other crease colors. Next, I'm gonna let's take this shade called Perm right over here, this sort of peachy color. And now that we've had a chance to do some blending on the darker stuff, we can add in a little more haze, you know, around the outside of everything. This is really fun to do. Just a little on the brush, not really doing circular motions, just kind of a light back and forth. I love the fade. Love the fade. You could even go with a little bit of like this red color, this rust called New Wave. And you can put that right on top of where the black is kind of reaching up out of the crease and get even more of a gradual kind of fade. See, you don't always get a black in a warm palette like this. That would be kind of a differentiating thing. A lot of times these types of warm tones will settle into a brown, which is fine, but the black just does something even more for me with that contrast. And I don't feel like we're seeing maybe as many heavy glam eyeshadow looks these days, but it's fine, you know. Do what you want. Do what makes you feel like you're having a good time in the process, okay? Pulling out Gone Matte now, just because I've really got my wheels turning. Okay, yeah, they've got a lot of warmth in this palette. It does go down to black. I really liked how this one had like a strip in different tones, from dusty lilac to pinky mauve, classic brown, little bit warmer brown, orangey, reddish shades. It was just a really smart layout, and it kind of proves to you as you look down the line there was no overlap, you know. Everything was very like an easy gradient. It doesn't mean you can't skip around the palette, but if you wanted to just stick to one of those lines, it's very obvious how you could build the look. In my opinion, that's probably one of the best things ColourPop has ever done, is that palette. Okay, so what do we want to go inward with on the lid? I'm thinking a little bit of Psych right down here. So just that peachiness. And then we're coming in to meet that black. Might have to feel like you're doing a little blending as you go over it. But this peach is holding its own. I don't know if it's so much a peach as it is like just a light beige. I don't know, I might want something just a little darker than that, like Mall Rat. Kind of coming right on the seam, so to speak, between the light shade and the dark shade on the lid. There's always a little seam. I will never get over the satisfaction of an all matte look. Just won't. It's awesome every time. Going under the eye, maybe something a little soft. Maybe we use Grody and we let that kind of swing under. I know this brush probably has a little of the black on it too. Still, just a gentle, like kind of smoky liner with shadow. And we do have a nice dark brown in here that's an option if you didn't want to go all the way black. I'm gonna do some black liquid liner. Continue to reach for this guy, but it hasn't steered me wrong since I've been using it, the Essence Lash Princess Black Waterproof. I'm just gonna go across the upper lash line with a thin line, and then we have a new mascara. All right, friends, so this is the mascara. I got the One Size Fantasize mascara. I used it yesterday. I was pretty impressed. I wasn't full on blown away. Like, I saw somebody using it on TikTok and I was like, well, that might be worth trying. But I'm still getting acquainted. First go around with a mascara isn't always the best for me. We're gonna use it some more today, but I do really like the style of the brush. We're talking like really short bristles, but they still got some goop in there, you know, like, so some product's gonna build fairly quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like rows of bristles coming out from the center of the wand, and nothing's too long, and they get really short by the time they get to the tip. But I feel that gives me some control here, you know, having these really short bristles. Even though it's kind of a larger brush, it still feels controllable and honestly a little smaller than some other things I have because the bristles don't go out as far. And I feel like some sides of the bristles came out more cleaned off, and some are more like applying the bulk. Yes, kitten? Oh my, looking at herself in the mirror, getting all excited. You know, it really is building pretty big. Like, this is a pretty good look. Yeah, it's really interesting. Some lines of the bristles are like clean as can be, and then some are holding a lot of product. I wonder if that was just a happen so or by design. One Size did a really good job with making all their packaging just so distinct and identifiable with all the red, you know, the shine kind of like chrome look. You see it and you know what it is. There is a kitten stuck to my leggings. Hello, kitten. This is sort of a critical time. I swear, kittens, everything is a game. Everything they find is a game. Every little new spot they discover is like a big exploration. Okay, so I'm coming back to build on this side, and I feel like it was most of the way dry. And it's still building on itself pretty well. Like really long lashes. Okay, so thick, lengthened out lashes. I mean, I feel like it probably, honestly, is taking me a little bit longer to get to the end result I want compared to a cosmetic superhero, but I am getting there, and that's saying a lot, really. I want to put some on the lower lashes, but I don't really want to use that. I want to use what I know won't smudge, Cali Ray, come hell or high water, just a little. Just kind of complements that little smokiness you got going. You know, you just want some fringe down there. It doesn't have to be thick or a lot. Then you know what you can kind of do, and it feels like finishing powder. Like there's probably powder left in this puff. And you just take it without putting any more on it and just kind of go over like those little last areas where I always like a little finishing powder right in here, maybe right in between the brows. So guys, I really like the lip I used with this look the other day. I used my Milani Understatement lip liner in Cinnamon Statement. I feel like I don't have a Revlon Color Stay lip liner that's just like this. Nude, but more of a toasty warm nude. And staying power wise, I don't know that this lasts quite as well as the Revlon, but it's close. And it goes on kind of feeling about the same, if not a bit creamier. Oh, so if I've gotten anyone on to Spill the Cheer podcast, if you started listening to that, any former cheerleaders, anyone who, you know, likes keeping up with the athletes, the coaches, the big players in the industry, another thing I've discovered through that is Full Out Chats, and that is on YouTube actually, and those are really good too. The guy who's doing those actually has a broadcasting degree. He's very energetic and has a cheer background as well. At the time he was doing all of them, I wish he'd go back to doing more because it seems like a year ago was when they stopped, but like sit downs and round tables with coaches and cheerleaders too. And Steve, at the time he did this, he was coaching Purdue, and I don't think he is anymore. So what I'm saying is, Steve, you need to come back and like update us on your life and then start interviewing people again. The lashes right now are at a 90% dry state, so it's perfect time to kind of blink down on them and get them really directed in that upturned way you want them. But now that this lip is on, I'm getting distracted. I'm changing topics. Our Too Faced lip injection, the Chocolate Plump, remember from the new Too Faced chocolate collection? Looks so pretty on this. Just go all over the lip. This will affect the staying power a little bit, but it's worth it. I love that look. And so what we're left with, again, what's really got me with this look, what's hooked me, is this complexion that even, you know, in natural light, seeing yourself in a random mirror or a rear view mirror, we all know peeking in that rear view mirror can be harsh, y'all. But what you get is some luminosity created by this, I believe, and then this goes over the top and it adds the beautiful coverage, but not so thick that you can't still see some of this working its magic through. The concealer, the light pink setting powder, everything just really worked together well. That bronzer too, I loved that. My Matte Vibes palette, as much as I like it, I don't consider it to be like irreplaceable. You know, you heard what I said about the ColourPop one, which is huge and just has a great spectrum of mattes. You can look to Profusion for a mattes palette. It's just not the only player in the game, okay? There are many other options there. I have so enjoyed this. I've used the heck out of this Chocolate Plump lip injection because it's just got more shimmer than all the other lip injections, and it looks so pretty. Like, it's just a fun surprise. How's it gonna look topping this? How's it gonna look on top of that? Mascara was pretty darn good, but I still feel like my overall studs of the look was everything that went into the complexion. This look gives me staying power, this gives me the little bit of glow, and I really like that bronzer too. Well, it ain't really the finished look until I take my hair down, is it? Ready for the day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate your time and your kind comments, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. I love you. Bye.